What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Peter Mrazek injury. We're going to be talking about the status of Ilya Mikheyev. We're going to be looking at the possible Leaf trade, or the possibility of a trade having to happen, but now it doesn't need to happen because of this injury. We will be looking through all of that because there's actually legitimate reasons to think that the Toronto Maple Leafs might have to make a move, whether it's right now or in a couple weeks, maybe next week. I don't know. We're going to look into it because there's a few different scenarios here that have been talked about and that have to happen or will need to happen in the near future. They don't really have a choice unless something else happens. But if you are new to this channel and you love Leaf content, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I know there's a ton of people that watch these videos that aren't subscribed. I'd greatly appreciate it. But let's get on to the news, and I'll explain to you guys about the trade stuff and why it actually has something to do with these injuries and the possibility of it having actual problems with the Toronto Maple Leafs roster. So obviously we've seen, most of us, if you haven't already, the Leafs PR account, which has been pretty busy when it comes to Peter Mrazek already this season. Maple Leafs goaltender Peter Mrazek has been placed on injured reserve due to a groin injury retroactive to November 4th. So they're basically just saying that the start of his stint on the injured reserve starts on November 4th. He is expected to miss approximately 4 weeks. Now, here's the thing. We've already seen Mikheyev, who is still on injured reserve. We've already seen him on there. And the way that the cap works, if it's, to my understanding of how the cap works, Mrazek, if he goes onto injured reserve now, the Leafs will be able to now put Mikheyev back onto the roster, whereas before they weren't able to. Now, I'll show that briefly, and hopefully that this is correct. I'm pretty sure it is, the way I looked into it here. But this is what it would look like when Mikheyev comes back, because apparently he's only a couple weeks away from coming back. I'm not really too sure on his timeline, but he should be back before Mrazek is back. Now, Mrazek needs to go over here. Oh my God, of course. Now it wants me to refresh the page. Fantastic. So now I can actually explain it a little bit better. I don't know why Campbell's here. We definitely don't need to see that. So before Ilya Mikheyev was here on LTIR, now I've got Mrazek here. So you're going to see the cap space. This isn't actually, I don't believe this is actually the number. I think it's less. But Mikheyev would be obviously back on the roster with Mrazek also there. Now, let's just say that Mrazek wasn't injured and Mikheyev came back. You can see the Leafs are over the salary cap. So it sucks that Mrazek's hurt. We don't want him to be injured, but this saves the Maple Leafs a little bit of time to make a move, because without having Mrazek on injured reserve, bringing Mikheyev back, the cap implications, it just wouldn't have worked. So it's not a good thing that Mrazek is injured, but it kind of bought the Leafs a little bit more time to see who's going to be off of this roster, who's expendable, who's going to get traded. Because sure, you might be able to send some of this money to the minors, right? But that's not going to save them from their salary cap problems. They would have to send multiple players down, and at this point, they can't really do that. They have no extras. That's why there's been rumors of Justin Hall and Travis Dermott being traded. And then, of course, we've heard rumors about maybe Engvall getting moved. A lot of people are still fixated on Kerfoot being moved, but he's having a really good start to his season. He's doing a lot of good things. Finally getting a chance to play on the second line with consistency, because if you're not going to use him as a third-line center, he can't be a third-line winger at this price. You need him up here in the top six. Obviously, you're not getting rid of Bunting, Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. You're not getting rid of Kerfoot. Like I said, Kampf and Kasha have been really good. Spets has been good. Simmons is here, and he's been doing his job. Nick Ritchie at 2.5, he's just starting to come into his own. And we even heard rumors about the Ilya Mikheyev stuff at the beginning of the year about him maybe requesting a trade, but the Leafs didn't want to trade him, and now he's been injured, so it's not like he really has much trade value. And in terms of the blue line, like I said, Hall and Dermott are the only guys that the Leafs have been considering, and with the way that Timothy Liljegren has been playing, I mean, I just don't see a world in which, you're going to move on from Justin Hall because you want these guys in here swapping in and out. I don't know. It's a big mix up here. The Leafs, I mean, it's a good thing to have if you think all these guys are valuable to the roster and you don't have to move on from them. But it's going to create a little bit of a cap problem once Mrazek comes back. Like I did mention, the Leafs are definitely going to have to make a move here because they will be over the salary cap by over $1.5 million. So, I mean, do you just trade a Mikheyev? I don't know. Do you trade a Justin Hall or a Travis Dermott? Even then, you're still going to have to find more money to get rid of here. But there's a lot of different ways that the Leafs can work here. These injuries aren't really helping them in terms of going forward towards the trade deadline either. But we need to talk about Mrazek for a second here. Now, when he signed to this team, I'll be honest, and you guys see my initial reaction on Twitter, YouTube, wherever it is. I was not overly excited about this signing because there was a bunch of different things that came into this Mrazek signing. In my opinion, I don't think that it worked then, and I don't think it's working now. I think Mrazek is fantastic when he's healthy, and that's the biggest thing here. If he's healthy, well worth the money. He's played in a tandem. He's done really well. He's put up good numbers. But when Mrazek's not healthy, which is a lot of the time, his contract is never going to look good because then when he comes back, now you're not expecting him to ever be at 100%. The Leafs rushed him back from the first injury, not even like one game in. The guy was already injured. So this doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of the money that they gave him. And they're also hoping that if Jack Campbell ended up leaving, that they would have Mrazek signed to a few more years and hope that one of their goalies like Ian Scott or Joseph Woll would be able to take over once that deal is up, which is still entirely possible, but it's not really a good look. So the reason why, again, I want to bring up the injuries is, as you can see here, 2019 injury problems, 2020, 2021, and then two more here. And then obviously now there's another one for November that's not even listed here yet. The Mrazek deal is at $3.8 million, like I said, for the next couple of years. He has the modified no trade clause. But if we're looking at his numbers, Mrazek's, like I said, he's been a pretty good goaltender. With Carolina last year, really good numbers, not so shabby in the playoffs. But again, that's only 2 games played. Those numbers can be, inflated or deflated just by playing 1 or 2 more games. Like that, you can't base a whole performance off of 2 games. Even 5, he had good numbers here, but again, that's not a huge sample size. But it basically is 1 playoff round, so not too bad. Again, regular season numbers not bad. Good regular season numbers here. 17 games with Philadelphia, not the greatest, but previously good numbers. He's always had good numbers. Like, he's not the worst. And again, 2 games played here, not the greatest numbers, but 2 games can really just make you look either really good or really bad. But Mrazek is not going to help the Leafs when it comes to Jack Campbell. And the reason I'm saying that is now that Mrazek is hurt again and he's not reliable to start games again, I've tweeted this every single time a notification comes out about Peter Mrazek. The number for Jack Campbell has gone up. Every single time that he gets injured, that AAV creeps up even higher, even higher, even higher. Starts more games, even higher. Wins more games, even higher. The Leafs need to figure out a way to get this deal done soon, because if they wait till the end, it's going to cost them a bunch of money. It's probably going to cost them even more in terms of years, and it's going to cost them a roster spot. I am looking into this camera right now and promising you guys this. The Leafs have already re-signed Riley. They're already talking to Campbell. The Leafs are going to lose significant contracts next year, and I'm not talking the big 4. It is possible, but we're not going to jump that far ahead yet. But guys like Kerfoot and Ritchie and these guys that are signed to, numbers that are a little bit too high, they're gone. They can't afford to keep all these guys. They're going to have to find more guys that are in the league min or just under $1 million or just over $1 million type contracts. You're going to have to rely on the Nick Robertsons of the world. You're going to have to rely on the Josh Hosangs of the world to come in and fill spots at a cheaper number, which It could work, definitely could work. And the way that the Big Four is playing right now, if they score a bunch of goals, then it doesn't really matter who else is there. Because the Big Four has scored like the last 12 or 15 goals, it looks like, without anybody else scoring. So if they keep doing that, then your depth only has to chip in here and there. And that's been Dubas's plan the whole time. But with Mrazek getting hurt continually, something's got to give. And it's also going to hurt the Leafs negotiating with Jack Campbell, regardless of how much he loves this place. They're definitely going to come in, and I mean Campbell's camp is going to come in and go, yeah, you gave an injured goaltender $3.8 million, who's also been a tandem goaltender. Sure, he has more experience, but if I leave, then that's your guy. And the Leafs are going to go, oh, we screwed up here. We need to pay you lots of money. And they're going to go, so we'll give you like, I don't know, probably like 3.7. And they're going to go, try 5. And that's probably the number. It's going to be anywhere between 4.8 to 5 or even higher, depending on how good he plays. Now, that's great for the Leafs if he plays fantastic. But that doesn't do too good for their cap situation. We'll have to see what happens. Just wanted to make this video talking about a few different little pieces here. It all kind of joins together. But if you are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.